I want to talk about a case that's been all over the news lately because this isn't a typical scam that you usually see online. It's the model who goes by Mia Ventura online, and her real name is Adva Lavi. According to prosecutors, this wasn't just somebody sitting behind the computer trying to convince strangers to send them money. Before we get into the allegations, I just want to be clear about where this case stands right now. Mia has pleaded not guilty. Nothing has been proven in court yet, and she's entitled to a fair defense just like anyone else. This is only what prosecutors and investigators have laid out publicly, along with what's been reported by other outlets covering this case. So let's start with who this person even is. We're going to call her Mia in this video because that's what she goes by online. She was born in Israel and reportedly served in the military before becoming a flight attendant, which most people born there have to do anyways. She eventually moved into modeling and built a public profile under the name Mia. She appeared in Playboy and Penthouse, and she had a big social media following. She would go to red carpet events, and she basically was just living this big luxury LA lifestyle. At one point, she became engaged to Steven Glubeck, which is a billionaire businessman. Later, he was accused of trying to intimidate witnesses from testifying in the criminal case against his fiancee, Mia. Prosecutors are saying between 2023 and 2025, Mia allegedly used dating apps to meet people around the LA area. She met people in Westlake Village, West Hollywood, and Beverly Hills. Investigators are saying her targets were wealthy older men and also younger women at some point. She allegedly has built relationships over time, presenting herself to be a girlfriend or basically a travel partner. She would then end up inside the victim's home. From there, prosecutors say she took everything: cash, gold, high end designer items. One alleged victim, a woman named Eden Lynn, was a guest on a Las Vegas podcast. This was back in 2025. Mia was reportedly on the same podcast that night. Eden later realized two credit cards and $500 were missing from her purse, which she left in the green room. Weeks later, charges totaling up to $900 showed up on one of those stolen cards. She later called the salon and found that this appointment was booked under Mia's name. The stylist reportedly confirmed the booking and even had a consultation and video call on record along with text and receipts of the proof. This obviously was not hard to trace. Another incident which she recently got arrested for was the Coachella Music Festival in 2025. Prosecutors say she was staying in a man's Airbnb during the festival, and she took his Rolex along with a pair of Louis Vuitton sunglasses and a Louis Vuitton money clip. It's really not funny, but it's just so unbelievable. So basically, this caused her to have a separate felony warrant out of Riverside County, and she was arrested again. So she was already facing six felony counts out of Los Angeles County before this. When investigators eventually searched her apartment in LA, they reportedly found over $200,000 in cash locked in two safes. They also found gold coins, gold bars, a firearm, and around 40 items of clothing police believe were stolen from the alleged victims. If all of this is determined to be true in court, she sounds like a professional scammer. Like, this is just unbelievable. And it wasn't just in California. People are making reports from Nevada, Florida, and even overseas locations like France and Italy. Investigators basically put out a public statement asking if anyone had a similar experience to come out and share their story, and more than a dozen people reportedly responded. As of March 2026, Mia was ordered to stand trial on six felony counts: two counts of grand theft, two counts of unauthorized use of personal identifying information, and of course, multiple counts of theft. She pleaded not guilty to all of it. If convicted on everything, she's facing up to 11 years and 8 months in state prison. But this is where it gets really crazy because in July, she was arrested again in Beverly Hills. This was for the felony warrant from the Coachella situation. When police took her into custody, they noticed that her court ordered ankle monitor was missing entirely from all those other previous arrests we just talked about. That triggered an additional misdemeanor charge on top of everything else. And at a bail hearing, the judge found that she had violated multiple court orders and not just removing the monitor, but she also allegedly applied for a second Israeli passport after the original one has already been taken. That was a condition of her first release. So, based on those violations, the judge had revoked her bail completely and ordered her held without bond until trial. She's since been scheduled for a separate mental health hearing as well, which I think is good because obviously something is like seriously wrong. Her attorney publicly described her as a work in progress, someone who made mistakes but is doing her best. But I want to talk about the pattern for a minute, regardless if she's convicted or not. But whatever the investigators are describing is actually really concerning. I spend a lot of my time investigating scams and fraud, and the thing that makes this kind of scheme really dangerous is the fact that she is building allegedly fake relationships with others to basically prey on them. A lot of people think of fraud and they think it's just something that happens super fast and maybe from a stranger just like messaging you off one of those weird fake accounts, someone calling from a spam number asking for gift cards, or someone immediately requesting money that you just met or maybe are just talking to online. Those scams are pretty easy to spot because they make it very urgent and they want the money right then. But this case is the exact opposite. It's basically like a slow build. It's months of dinners, trips, conversations, phone calls, texts, basically getting the person to trust her and build that relationship with that other person. So she's building this trust before she actually takes anything. It basically felt like trust between two people who knew each other, and these men probably liked her and was interested in her, obviously. That's the part I just want to point out because the scams that do the most damage over the longest period of times are almost never the quick send me money scams. It's the scams that are built off of trust and relationships, especially romantic relationships. It's because it feels like it's connection. These wealthy older men who allegedly got pulled into this, they weren't naive. Most of them were probably extremely wealthy and probably had a lot of successful businesses or high positions and made careful decisions every single day. But none of that matters when someone spends months of manipulating you and building a relationship. I would watch how quickly someone tries to become essential in your life, whether it's romantic or business or friendships. Also, be careful about love bombing. That is really a common pattern in these romantic scams, anyways. Watch what happens when a relationship starts moving towards access to your home or to your things faster than you feel like the relationship is actually moving along. A lot of these scammers will try to get access to your home, your accounts, your cards, or be around your stuff and your space pretty quickly, and they make it seem like the relationship is more than what it actually is. Obviously, because they just want to get around you and either use you or get in, and in this case, apparently steal stuff from you. And this type of stuff happens all the time, even if it's not this extreme, even if it's just someone trying to live in your home or live rent free or take advantage of you in some type of way. They're all the same patterns. This is obviously just one that is more extreme because allegedly she was actually going in and just like stealing from the homes and was stealing big luxury items. But if you consider yourself being careful and you think you can read people well and you're not the type to fall for scams, it doesn't mean you're not going to end up in a situation like this. Confirmation bias plays a role in almost every fraud case. Once someone decides in their head that a relationship is genuine, or maybe they just really want the relationship to be genuine, they start interpreting everything through that perspective. including things that would look like obvious warning signs to an outsider. But once you become interested, especially romantically interested, you might think you're overthinking it, or this person's just, I don't know, plain hard to get, or they like you a lot. You can come up with a lot of different scenarios in your head to ignore the red flags. And the funny thing is, a lot of people never even report fraud because they're embarrassed, they're afraid, or they're just convinced that nothing's going to happen to the other person. This is why so many scams go unreported, and it allows scammers to continue to target others. If you think you have been a victim of a scam, you can book a call with me at forensic.com. You can also join my Patreon where you can message me directly, and I also have exclusive business tools on there as well. All my links are going to be down below in the description. I hope you guys like this video, and I will see you on the next one.